Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where in the world you are watching this right now. My name is Ryan Levesque, and I want to welcome you to this 2021 Choose, Ask, Build Challenge. I could not be more excited for you and for this time that we're going to be spending here together beginning today. So before I dive right in, I want to make sure that you can hear me okay, you can see me okay. Do me a favor, inside the chat thread that we've got going on, which is the Facebook comment thread directly below this video. If you're watching it inside the Facebook group right now, just let me know that you can hear me okay, you can see me okay. And most importantly, I want to hear from you. I want to know where in the world you are watching this from right now, because I know we've got an incredible multinational, international group here. This community is just so amazing and so exciting. So before we dive any further, let me know inside the comment thread where you're watching this from, and if you can hear me and see me okay. I just want to make sure that we are good to go, and I'm going to take things and take a look. If you just bear with me 1 second as I pull up our comment thread here just to see how things are going here inside the group. And it looks like, let's see if we can see right here. Okay, a few folks saying not seeing anything. Let me just make sure that I'm in the right place here and that the video is pushing live. Let me hear, let's hit the refresh button right now. Let me see what's going on inside the group. Let's see, I'm not seeing anything myself. Team, if you could just let me know if we're good to go, because I'm not seeing the video inside the Facebook group playing. And I want to make sure that we are good to go before we dive in any further and make sure that all is well. Awesome. Team in Slack, if I could just get a confirmation on that to make sure that we are good to go, that would be perfect. And I would, all right, let's see if we do this live. Okay, here we go. I had to hit the watch this live button, so there we go. Awesome, Christina, thank you, Santa, Matt, Carmen, Cheryl, Robert, Naomi, Cynthia, Laura. Okay, awesome. I'm loving that. Thanks so much for that confirmation. I just needed to make sure I was in the right place here. So it looks like we are all in the right place right now. So with that being said, if you're ready, I'm ready. We're going to dive right in here, and I cannot wait to get started. Once again, welcome to the 2021 Choose, Ask, Build Challenge. If we just stay on me as we go into this, we're going to be diving into this challenge here in just a minute. But before we dive right in, I want to make sure that I know a little bit about you. We've talked a little bit about where you're from, but I want to kick things off with our first question. Of course, we are the Ask Method company. This is the Ask Method after all, so you know I'm going to begin with the question. My question for you is as follows. If you are here because you are looking to start a new business, start something new from the ground floor, start from scratch, do me a favor and inside the comment thread, type the word START in all capital letters so I can see you coming through. In contrast, if you are here and you're looking to grow your existing business or your existing organization or your existing project and grow it to the next level, do me a favor and inside the comment thread, type in the word GROW in all caps. This is going to be really helpful for me and our team as we work to customize this challenge to you based on where you are right now. And last but not least, if you are here because you are specifically looking to incorporate a quiz funnel into your business, do me a favor and inside the comment thread, type the word quiz in all capital letters so I can get a sense for who we are, where we're at, and what we're most excited about doing right now. And by the way, no matter what situation you're in right now, whether you're looking to start something new, grow something to that next level, or you're specifically here because you're excited about incorporating a quiz funnel into your business, you are in the right place. All right, let me take a look. Bear with me 1 second as I take a look at the comment thread. I love it. So Cheryl says start and grow. Tammy says grow. Christine says grow. Richard says grow. Anna says quiz. Abe says quiz. Ayas says start and grow, somewhere in between. I love it. Safe says grow with the quiz. And Richard says with quiz. Blake says you are a quizzard, says Harry. Veronica says to grow. Luke says to start. Andrea says quiz and grow. Steve is looking to start. Anthony looking to start. Dawn, quiz funnel. Prasan, start and quiz. Christina looking to use a quiz. Sarah looking to start. And it looks like we got a great crew that is here today. So that is awesome. I'm really excited to dive right in. So let me set the stage for what we're going to be covering in the next few days, specifically this week. So this week in this challenge, we're going to be covering how to choose, ask, and build. Specifically what that means is how to choose your market, how to choose your niche, how to then ask that market what they need help with, what they want, so that you can build your quiz funnel to solve the problem, to serve the market, to give people exactly what they want and need in your business. It's a process that we call choose, ask, build. And that's what we're going to be focusing on together here in this week. In fact, this is the same process that I've personally used myself to literally start my own business. If you look at the slides here, my first month in business, I made $370, and I was able to go from $370 in that very first month in business to over $24,000 a month within 18 months. And then over $1 million a year in less than 3 years, all using this choose, ask, build process. And I've personally had the experience of doing this in all sorts of different weird niche markets, 23 weird niche markets to be exact. In fact, some of the niche markets that I've had experience in myself are markets as obscure as the Scrabble tile jewelry market, the orchid care market, helping people with their orchids, selling orchid supplies, selling even orchids themselves, helping people improve their memory in the memory training market, and all sorts of random markets, everything from water filtration to satellite TV, fish oil supplements, flea removal, violet care, and more. But what's much more important than my story is the fact that there are literally thousands of regular people like you and me all around the world who are using this exact process that we're going to be going through together this week to choose, ask, and build the business of their dreams. People like Cindy Ingram. Cindy is a mom, 2 kids. She's a former teacher. She's a former school teacher, followed this choose, ask, build process, and was able to build a membership site of over 1,000 paying members that now results in over $27,000 a month in income, which is more money in a single month than she used to make in an entire year as a school teacher. People like Nir Yogev, who's in Israel, actually, and he's a dad with 3 kids, followed the choose, ask, build process, and he went from his first sale to making 6 figures in his business in less than a year, now makes over $44,000 a month in the back pain market. People like Charlie Wallace, who was a traveling musician living out of the back of his van, followed this choose, ask, build process and was able to grow his income by more than 10x in less than 9 months, and today makes over $2.2 million a year in his business in the guitar space. So he's following his passion, teaching guitar. People like Will Hamilton, who started his business in the basement of his parents' house after graduating from college, followed this choose, ask, build process, and is now making $63,000 a month in the tennis market online. Or people like Kathy Kowalik. Kathy is in the dog training niche. She's a caregiver for her family. So she has an elderly family member that she is caring for, and that it means that she needs to always be around this family member. She's unable to travel. She needs to stay close to home. She needed a way to make an income where she didn't have to leave her home and leave the side of this elderly relative. Followed this choose, ask, build process. Now she makes over $19,000 a month in her business. Or people like Janine Samuels. Janine was a management consultant working a corporate career and decided that she wanted to pursue her passion, which was the topic of cheerleading. She wanted to help aspiring cheerleaders become professional, which is something that she did earlier in her life. And on the back of this process, choose, ask, build, she was able to replace her full-time income and quit her job so that she was able to transform her side hustle business into now her full-time income. Or people like Jonathan Milligan in the blogging niche. He's a husband, father of 2, followed this choose, ask, build process, made over $64,000 in his first 4 months, just basically following the steps that we're going to be talking about here today. And last but not least, Dana Abraham in the parenting niche, mother of 3, followed this choose, ask, build process, and was able to build $1 million a year business, literally following the steps as we're going to be beginning to outline them in this challenge this week. week. And I just went inside our community literally this morning because I wanted to grab some of the up to the minute examples and success stories of people so that you feel inspired to know that what we're going to be covering is working right here, right now, today. It's working in this post-COVID world that we're all in. It's working in this world as things open up. And this is the success that people are getting literally right now as we speak. So check it out. People like Lynette Lim, who just generated her first online sale ever following this process. Or Linda Basso, who generated her first 3 sales in less than 10 days, made over $2,700. People like Elisa Bass, who just generated her first 9 sales in less than a week. People like Litsa Barbaglullo, who generated her first $13,000 sale ever in her life. People like Greg Lee, who just did a $10,000 boot camp. He hosted a boot camp for his clients, made over $10,000 in less than a week. Or Tran Manduk, who's in Vietnam. For those of you who are in other countries around the world, just generated his first 8 clients purchasing a program at the $10,000 to $15,000 level. And yes, folks, this is in Vietnam. So for those of you wondering, does this work in other countries around the world? The answer is absolutely yes. And for those of you who were devastated or impacted by COVID and the global pandemic and everything that happened, I want to share Annaline Dinkelman's story, which is incredibly inspiring. Her business was completely shut down when COVID hit. And she literally just posted this in our community a few days ago and shared that she has already generated over $170,000 in a brand new business this year that did not exist last year when she had to completely pivot and start completely from scratch after COVID-19 happened. So I share this with you to hopefully be inspired by what's possible and to give you some inspiration about what we're going to be talking about beginning here today. All right, so for those of you wondering, a couple things. For those of you who are completely starting from scratch right now, you're in the perfect place because we're going to be covering the very first important foundational steps that you want to take when it comes to building an online business in today's environment in 2021. Now, what worked in 2020, 2019 before COVID no longer works today. This is a new reality. It's a new world that we live in, and there are some very specific steps that you want to follow. So for those of you who are starting from scratch, you are in the perfect place right now. For those of you who are looking to grow something new, what we're going to be covering this week is getting clarity around some of the most important questions that you need to know the answers to when it comes to growing your business from where you're at right now to whatever that next big milestone is that you want to hit in your business. And for those of you who are here specifically because you are looking to build a quiz funnel in your business, this week we're going to be focusing on the foundational steps that are going to set you up for success when next week we kick off something called our free quiz funnel workshop, where we're going to dive down into the nitty-gritty, into all the details about creating a quiz from start to finish. But what we do this week is the foundational work that's going to set you up for success when it comes to using that quiz funnel in your business. So it doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch, looking to grow something new, or you're specifically here because you want to build a quiz. Like I said, you are in the right place, and we've got a lot of ground to cover in a short amount of time, so I'm really, really excited for you here today. All right. So a few things. We're going to be covering this week specifically, focusing on the 5 most important questions that you want to answer when it comes to starting and growing your business. And we already kind of started on the first of these questions in my welcome video that I shared with you over the last couple days. Out of curiosity, who had a chance to go through that welcome video, watch that video? Just let me know in the comments if you're able to watch it. You can just type the word welcome if you're able to watch that welcome video. Well, in case you missed that video, in that video I invited you to share a few pieces of information, to tell us a little bit about yourself, what your name is, where you're from, and most importantly, what's your why? What's your reason why? The very first question that you want to focus on answering. Now, we're probably all familiar with the work of Simon Sinek, right? To start with why. To begin with that all-important question, why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing? What's your motivation? What's the thing that's bigger than you? Why are you here with this desire to either start an online business or grow your existing business to the next level? What is your reason why? It's a very personal thing. There are only right answers. And in that welcome video, I invited you to go live here inside the group and share your reason why. What was your biggest reason why? And I love the fact that so many of you took advantage and took that call and really lean into it, sharing your why. And I'll share a few of your whys here because you really inspired me in such a huge way. I love Jan, your why here, loving to serve people and help them with their health. Why am I here? I want to learn more so I can actively market more efficiently, and I want to leave a legacy for my grandchildren and live life to the fullest without financial restraints. I'm a grandmother to 5 adorable grandchildren, and I wish to live to 100. I absolutely love that. Anyone else here, a grandmother or grandfather? Anybody else have grandkids? Let me know in the comments. I love Ron, your why. So I wanted to join this challenge to help build an online income stream that will hopefully replace my salary. The pandemic has pushed forward my plans for this, and I will need a proven system to get things started right away. Just out of curiosity, anyone else here whose life has or plans have been fast forwarded because of COVID, creating the sense of urgency to do what you've been wanting to do, that thing that maybe you've been putting on hold, wanting to do it now, this being your year? I can completely relate to that because I've had some plans that I've had on my someday maybe list that I decided to push forward to this year because I said, you know what, who knows what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring any of us. I love Michelle's story here and your why. Hugging the tree says a lot about who I am. I retired from pediatrics after 21 years of practice and had an unexpected wake-up call in the form of a heart attack scare at age 45. Now, fortunately, it was just a scare, not an actual heart attack, but it was a wake-up call for me. And for anyone here who's had a health crisis or a health scare in your life, then you know that there's nothing like coming to terms with your own mortality that forces you to have this sense of urgency to do that thing you've been called to do more so than anything else. And I love Andra's story here. My name is Andrew. I just finished high school. My parents keep on trying to make me go in a direction that I do not find fulfilling. And they also told me that they're not going to support me in a direction that I want to go. So here I am to learn so that I could slowly build on my own the dream job in life that I am looking for. I cannot wait to hop onto this. Anyone else here in a situation where your family or loved ones think you're crazy or maybe aren't supporting you on your dream that you're looking to pursue here? I can speak from experience. When I first started my business, everyone in my life thought I was insane. Everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone said, why are you doing this? How could you possibly be doing this? You're giving up a career. You're giving up all of this to what, in my case, teach people how to build and make Scrabble tile jewelry using origami paper and Scrabble tiles. Like, have you lost your mind? Like, how could you be doing this? And here we are more than 10 years later looking back, and the people that thought I was crazy at that point in my life in many cases are looking to do what my wife Tylene and I have been able to do, which is build an incredible business, allowing us to work from home, raise a beautiful family, live life on our own terms, have the freedom to live where we want to live, work when we want to work, travel as the world opens up, and really spend our time doing what's most important to us. And what I love about this is that so many of you from all around the world, everywhere from Zay Alves in Brazil, and Sahar from Jordan, and Queeneth from Nigeria, and Jane from Cyprus, and Leonard from Malaysia, literally all corners of the globe here inside this community, which is incredibly, incredibly exciting. Now, speaking of why, I thought, it would be really powerful and really helpful for me to share with you my why, my big reason why. When I first started my business years and years and years ago. And as I was kind of gearing up for this challenge here today, I dug up an old letter that I wrote originally to my mother, to my mom, when I was at a point in my life where I was deciding to quit my job, to give up my career, to start my own business. And in 2008, when I left that last job to start my business, I shared my why in this letter right here that you see that I wrote to my mom. And I thought I'd read just a brief excerpt from this letter because you might resonate with some of this, and there might be elements of this that you can recognize or resonate with in your own life. So this is what I shared. I said, when you work for someone else, it's easy to get complacent. The benefits may be okay, The pay may be decent, but you say to yourself, yeah, it's not what I imagined. I could keep doing this, I guess. But then there's that nagging feeling that something's not quite right, that something's not complete. It comes and it goes, but it never goes away. Like you were meant for something more, that you've got more to give in your life. You begin life with a fire in your belly, but over time, that fire starts to disappear, slowly, year after year. In fact, you don't even really notice it when it's happening to you. Every additional year that you stick around working for someone else, it gets harder and harder to leave that life. Sure, the company that you're working for might provide you with the safety net of a weekly paycheck, at least for now, until they don't need you anymore. But there's a big price that you have to pay for that safety net. And that price that you pay is freedom. When you work for someone else, they control when you work, where you work, how much they want to pay you. Now, sure, you can always stand at the knees of your boss and beg for more money, but who likes to beg? When you're in business for yourself, you control when you want to work, where you want to work, and how much you want to get paid. You want more money? Well, that's up to you to crack that nut. So, Mom, where I'm getting with all this is this. Right here, right now, I am making a commitment to myself to take back control of my life. To say, screw it, just do it. Because it dawned on me recently that every major success in my life, the things that were impossible at the time, occurred because I just shut up and did it. And that's what I'm doing this time, with a sense of urgency that I've never felt before. It's like a lightning bolt running down my spine. Why now? Well, for some crazy reason, it just occurred to me that I'm not going to live forever. So if I don't do this now, I might never do it. This is probably going to be the most difficult thing that I've ever attempted. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't just a little bit scared. But I now know that if it's been done before by other people, and it has, then there's no reason on earth why I can't do it either. Who knows? This might be my greatest failure yet. But one thing's for certain. The time is now, and today is the day. I wrote that to my mom in 2008, and it was a few weeks before I made the decision to quit my job, to burn all the ships, to give it all up. And I shared with you the results. My first month in business, I made $378. Within 18 months, I was making $24,000 a month. Within 3 years, over $117,000 a month. Now, I took a moment to share my why with you. And for those of you who went through that exercise, through the welcome video, answering that question about your why, and for anybody else here who hasn't already done that, what I'd love to invite you to do right here, right now, today, is to take a moment to share your why by listing it in the comments right now and using the hashtag as you see it here on my screen, hashtag my why. What's your big reason why? What's the big reason why you're doing what you're doing? What's your primary driving, motivating force? Is it because you want to leave a legacy for your grandkids? Is it because your parents, your family aren't supporting you right now and no one believes in you? And you want to prove the world wrong and prove that you've got what it takes? Do you want to do this for your kids? Is there a better life that you want to provide for your family? Maybe like me in my case, I didn't have a chance to see my dad a whole lot growing up because he worked nights. Maybe you want to be there for your kids. Maybe you want to be a parent that's able to spend that time that you want with your kids in that precious age that you have them at before they grow up and move on out. Maybe you want to provide a better life for yourself than you had growing up. Maybe you want to take care of your parents for all the sacrifices that they made. After all, we all stand on the shoulders of giants. None of us would be here without the support and help of so many people that got us to this very moment and this point in life. What's your why? I'd love to invite you to take a moment to share it here in the group. And whether your why is about achieving more freedom in your life, making a bigger impact, leaving a legacy, I'd love to know what that is. And I'll share a few of these here inside the group. Emma says, I never want to go back to being a wage slave. I want to make my side hustle my full-time hustle because I cannot keep working in the corporate 9 to 5, says Caitlin. My wife says, Stanley, I want to enjoy my retirement with my wife and leave a legacy for our children. Cadillac, my why, leave a life of legacy for my kids. Bob, my why, always have wanted to work on my own, freedom, control, how much money to make. Ryan, leave a legacy for my family. Prasan, my why, I want to have income streams not limited by borders to allow me to be a citizen of the world. Bill, my why, I'm retired and bored. I used to love working, but I'm not working right now. Jimmy, my why, legacy builder. I want to help other men, their entrepreneurial birthright. Denise, I want to leave my legacy with my clients and show them what's possible. Sasha, I want to live life on my own terms, have financial freedom. Andrew, part of my why, to be part of the solution versus the problems in this world. Yeah, who wants to leave this world a better place for our kiddos and our grandkids, right? Samantha, my why, I want to provide for my children as a single mother. Cass, my why, empower the parents of children with autism. Carrie, I've gone through most of my retirement funds and need to build that back up. My why, says Charlie, I want to leave a legacy for my children and my grandchildren. Sri, my why is to get out from this toxic environment. Anna, becoming my greatest potential. Robert, living life on my own terms. Carrie, Tanya, and Blake, and Eric, and Nyla, everyone sharing your why. Well, I shared my why. I love everyone here taking a moment to share your why and why you've done this. And for those of you who haven't gone through the exercise, I want to invite you and encourage you to go back and watch the welcome video that I shared where I invited you to answer those questions. What's your name, where you're from, and what's your big why? Why are you here? What's your reason why? In fact, I want to share every single day that there's going to be an assignment like that assignment inside the welcome video. This is a challenge that's not just about sitting back and putting your arms up and relaxing. This is a challenge that is all about doing. It's all about taking action. It's all about making things happen for yourself and in your life. And it all begins right here, right now, today. In fact, every single day, we're going to have a micro assignment to help move things forward, beginning today. It's about taking action. And the more you participate, the more you're going to get out of this experience. And listen, I am not above bribing you for going all in because I love rewarding people who take action, and I want to reward you for taking action here in this challenge. So here's what's going to happen. Every single day, there's going to be opportunities to participate. And the more you participate, the more chances you have to win. So in fact, today we're going to start by giving away 3 Amazon gift cards beginning in today's training. And you got to be here live to qualify for these surprises and prizes that are happening every single day. So I know for many of you, you've moved mountains to be here. You're taking time off work. You're putting the kids to bed early so you can be here and be focused. You're making sacrifices. You're canceling your plans. You are here because this is important to you in your life. And I want to reward you for that. So for those of you who are here live, you'll have an opportunity to qualify. I'm going to be giving away 3 Amazon gift cards here today. The more you participate on this call, the better chance you have to win, the more chances you have to win. Now, in case you're joining us live, you're just getting here, you may have missed the kickoff. I want to let you know that you can get notified when stuff is happening. When we're going live, we have a service that we're using for this, and you can sign up for this service by going to chooseaskbill.com/text. Now, when you go to that link, chooseaskbill.com/text, you're going to get to a page that looks a little something like this on my screen. That video will play. And all you need to do is enter your email address and your phone number, any country around the world. Enter your phone number, and we'll sign you up for my personal secret text message thread. So this is my SMS text message thread where I'll be sending you text alerts whenever I'm going live in the training. We've got extra special goodies and secrets and bonuses and all sorts of stuff that you only get when you're on this secret text message thread. And when you sign up on this secret text message thread, we'll get you all the good stuff. So that'll make you make sure you get notified anytime we go live, so that way you don't miss a beat and you can be here live for every single training session. All right, so what we're going to cover today, remember, Choose, Ask, Build, this process and this challenge is all about getting clarity on the immediate next steps that you need to take in your business, no matter where you're at right now, if you're just getting started or if you're looking to get to that next level. And today, we begin by focusing on you. Today is all about you. So this is all about you. It's all about why you're here. It's about who you are. It's about your identity. And based on that information, getting clarity on answering the first important question that we're talking about here today, which is, what is your entrepreneur business type? What do I mean by that exactly? Well, by the way, before we dive in any further, what I highly recommend, if you haven't done so already, is this is a good time to take out something that you can take some notes to actually follow along with me. You might want to have something that you can write with and draw with, because we'll be drawing some diagrams together. I encourage you to follow along with me as we dive right in together, because we're going to begin by answering this very first question, which is really designed to set you up for success. I know some of you might say, I just want to rush straight to what's my quiz funnel headline going to be? Well, this is the important foundational stuff where none of that matters if we lose sight of why we're here in the first place. This is the strategic stuff. This is the big picture stuff. This is the CEO level stuff that you need to get clear on and get clarity around so that you can ultimately be as successful as possible. And it begins by answering this first question, which is, once again, what type of entrepreneur are you? What is your entrepreneur business type? So we're going to begin by answering that question here. And we're going to do that by going to the iPad, and we're going to draw out this diagram. So when it comes to deciding what type of entrepreneur you are, there are 4 types of entrepreneurs. And as I go through these 4 types, and I draw out this grid right here, and by the way, you might want to follow along and draw out this grid yourself with me. 4 types of entrepreneurs. When you follow along and draw this grid with me, as I explain each of these 4 types of entrepreneurs, I want to encourage you to start thinking about which one resonates with you the most. So which type of entrepreneur do you most identify with? And by the way, there's no wrong or right answer on any of these. It's really just about which type most resonates with you as an individual. Beginning with the first type of entrepreneur, which is what we call a mission-based entrepreneur. So mission-based, I'm going to write that right here, a mission-based entrepreneur. Now, mission-based entrepreneur, we use the acronym MB for shorthand here. Mission-based entrepreneur is an entrepreneur, the type of person who wants to right some wrong in the world. There is a hill that you would die on, a cause that you want to support, some type of evil in the world that you want to eliminate to support and serve and help people. It's a mission that you've been called to, that you've been drawn to. It's the thing that drives you. It's part of your through line. It's why you're here. It's the mission that you've been called to serve. I'll give you an example of a mission-based entrepreneur who is using the Ask method and a quiz funnel in her business to further her mission in life. I think of Christy Kennedy. Christy Kennedy is a mom who has a son who was born autistic with autism. And as her son started to get older and eventually went into elementary school, her son was bullied in the schoolyard. And like any mom, she stepped in, she intervened, she got involved, she went to the school, she talked to the teachers, she talked to the principals, and she made it her mission to eliminate not just bullying of her son, but eliminate bullying of all children in the school. Well, one thing led to another, and the school asked for her help to extend the work that she was doing, not just in her son's school, but across the entire school district. And before you knew it, she was invited to extend her work not just in the school district, but in the entire state. And fast forward to where we are here today, and Christy has made it her mission to now eliminate bullying in elementary schools across states around the country in over 1,000 schools from coast to coast. That is an example of a mission-based entrepreneur wanting to eliminate some evil, some wrong in the world. And that's the first type. Now, the mission-based entrepreneur is in direct contrast to the second type of entrepreneur. And that second type of entrepreneur is what we call the passion-based entrepreneur. Now, whereas the mission-based entrepreneur is looking to move the world away from something negative, the passion-based entrepreneur, which we delineate with the acronym or the initials PB for passion-based, really wants to move the world towards something that they love, a passion that they believe in. Oftentimes, it could be something like an art, or maybe a sport, or a hobby, or a subject that you absolutely love, something that you want to introduce to the world, share with the world, because it is truly your life's passion. It's what you love. It's something positive that you want to introduce into the world, to your market, to your customers, to your clients in a major way. A little bit earlier in today's training, I shared with you an example of a passion-based entrepreneur. Think of Charlie Wallace. Charlie was the gentleman that I mentioned who was a traveling musician living in the back of his van, playing the guitar with the dream to travel the world, to share his passion, share music with the world. The only problem was that he was a broke musician and he needed a way to make money. So he decided to turn to building an online business using the Ask method, using the power of a quiz funnel. And in the course of less than 9 months, was able to grow a business completely from scratch, and today makes over $2.2 million a year, sharing his passion with the world, which is teaching other people how to play guitar. So a passion-based entrepreneur is in direct contrast to a mission-based entrepreneur. But there's a third type of entrepreneur that is a bit different from both the mission-based and the passion-based. If we go to our iPad here, the third type of entrepreneur is what we call an opportunity-based entrepreneur. Now, the opportunity-based entrepreneur is an entrepreneur in the most classic sense of the the opportunity-based entrepreneur is shorthanded with the initials OB for opportunity-based, is the type of person that sees opportunities everywhere. Maybe the type of person that doesn't have a through-line passion or a through-line mission that draws them and is at the core of their being, but is the type of person that looks around and asks themselves, how is it that nobody has ever solved this problem? The opportunity-based entrepreneur is the entrepreneur who has a million ideas in a million days and is always pulled in a million different directions, trying to figure out what is the next opportunity to pursue. I'll give you an example of an opportunity-based entrepreneur. I think of Dana Obelman and her husband, Michael. Dana and her husband, Michael, when they were first newborn parents, they had their first child, they struggled as newborn parents, like so many of us do, getting their young infant to sleep through the night. And things got really rough where no one was sleeping. And you know what it's like for those of you who've had kids before, you know, when no one's sleeping, everyone's cranky, everyone's crabby, and they were really struggling. And Dana took it upon herself to figure out, why is it that we've tried everything in the world and nothing is helping our newborn infant sleep through the night, until one day she started diving into the research. She started diving into the medical research, trying to figure out what was going on, what was happening, and she found a solution. And she was finally able to get her infant to sleep through the night. Well, at a dinner party later that month, she met with some of her neighbors, and they were chatting about their own newborn infant who is struggling with the same challenges, and Dana offered to help them with their newborn baby and get them to sleep through the night. And then when she solved her neighbor's problem, one thing led to another, and of course she became the woman, the mom in the neighborhood that everyone was turning to solve this particular problem. And she thought, well, how is it that nobody's ever solved this before? Never thought of creating a business around this, never thought of building something around this, but decided to pursue this further. Well, here we are, fast forward more than 10 years later, and now she and her husband, Michael, have created a program called Sleep Sense. Sleep Sense is a program that has helped over 100,000 parents worldwide solve the problem of getting your kiddo to sleep through the night. And today she's been featured on the Today Show, Good Morning America, all across media, and she never intended on doing this in the first place. It was an opportunity that fell in her lap that she decided to pursue. It wasn't a mission, it wasn't a passion, it was just a question that she asked herself, how is it that nobody solved this problem? If not me, then who? Maybe I might solve this problem. So we have mission-based, passion-based, and opportunity-based, but it's in contrast to the fourth and final type of entrepreneur that we have in our grid here. And the fourth type of entrepreneur is what we call an undecided entrepreneur. Undecided entrepreneur. And we use the letter U to delineate the undecided entrepreneur. Now, the undecided entrepreneur is the type of person that knows they want to start a business. They know they want to work for themselves. They know they want to be their own boss. They know they want to take control of their own destiny. They know, like I knew many, many years ago, that I never wanted to be on my hands and knees begging my boss to earn more money. Instead, I wanted to have the freedom to work where I wanted to work, when I wanted to work, and to live life on my own terms. I just didn't know what type of business I was going to start. So if you're in that situation, if you're sitting there right here, right now, and you are undecided yourself, it is perfectly okay. I want to let you know that it is perfectly okay no matter where you are right now, because that's exactly the situation that I was in. And in my case, the recommendation that I have to you is the same recommendation I follow myself, which is to begin with what we call a practice business. A practice business is where you just pick something It doesn't have to be your forever business. It doesn't have to be your legacy business, but it's a practice business, a business that you can get started with. It's a business where you can learn the process of, for example, creating a quiz funnel, learn the process of evaluating demand in your market, learning the process of identifying a hungry crowd of people online who will pay money to solve a problem. It doesn't have to be your be-all, end-all, the only thing you do for the rest of your life. It's a practice business. Exactly what I started when I went into the Scrabble tile jewelry market. It wasn't a market that I had any passion over. It wasn't a market that was my lifelong mission. I just decided to pick something to learn the process. And in that process, was able to build a massively successful business. You saw the results going from $370 to over $24,000 a month in less than 18 months. And that was all, by the way, in just a practice business. All right, so those are the 4 types. We're gonna hit the pause button right now. I wanna invite you to, inside the comments, if we pull this up on the screen again, of the 4 types as we've described them right here. Of course, we've got elements of all of these in us, but if you had to pick one, and only one, which of the following do you most identify with right now? Go ahead in the comments, let me know. Are you mission-based, passion-based? And I'll just circle these. Are you mission-based? Are you more passion-based? Are you more opportunity-based? Or are you undecided right now? And by the way, in case you're wondering, you can evolve as a person, as a human being. Earlier in my life, as I mentioned, when I first got started, I was very much undecided. But now, as I've matured, as I've grown as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as I've had more experience serving more students, working with more entrepreneurs around the world, what started really as an undecided place for me has now become my mission. My mission is simple. My mission is to work with as many entrepreneurs as possible and help them walk the same path that I've been able to walk, to transform my life as a working class kid, blue collar kid, first in my family to go to college, to now build a multi-million-dollar business working from home, provide for my family, make an impact, and hopefully leave a legacy in this world. So where you are right now doesn't have to be where you are forever, but I'm curious, inside the comments, let me know which one best describes where you're at right now. So I see here, Alyssa, passion-based, Renee, mission and opportunity-based combo, Tanya, passion-based, feeling a mission as an extra force. Karen says mission-based, opportunity. We can cut to me when we're looking at this here. Larry says mission-based. Sarah says mission-based. Nan, passion-based. I love it. Catherine Davidson, passion-based. Gail Schneider, mission-based. Randy Keats says undecided, looking to be mission-based. B says passion-based. Cass, mission-based. That is a passion. I love it. Dave, mission-based. Lacia, I have a mission and a passion, but I don't want to mess up, so I might want to start OB or U, undecided. Samantha, mission-based. Lorelei, started 2 businesses in the past that were opportunity-based, but now I want to do a business that's passion-based. So no matter where you are right now, no matter where you're starting, there are only right answers, but it all begins with self-awareness. Now, there's an important thing to know, and that is each of these entrepreneur business types, each has what we call a shadow side, a dark side. Now, the shadow side is something that you want to be aware of. It's something that you want to watch out for. When you start with the self-awareness of knowing where you're coming from right now, I want to introduce you to the dark side, the shadow side of each one, so that when it creeps in, when that dark shadow creeps into your world and begins taking over, you can recognize it and you can shoo it away and push it back and not let it take over for you. So the shadow side for each of our entrepreneur types, beginning with our mission-based entrepreneur type, is as follows. The mission-based entrepreneur most often struggles with the fact that they're so drawn to the mission, so drawn to what it is that they're called to do, that in many cases they walk away broke. The reason for that is because they are so consumed by the mission, so consumed with helping people, with this life's mission to right the wrongs in the world, that they struggle with making money out of that mission. In contrast, the passion-based entrepreneur most often struggles where what was once a passion now becomes a J-O-B, your job, and you lose the passion for that thing that you were once so passionate about. You lose the passion for playing the guitar. You lose the passion for watercolor painting. You lose the passion for gardening because you got to wake up every day and it's become your job. So be mindful. Be careful when this comes up. The opportunity-based entrepreneur most struggles with this feeling of being empty inside. Sure, you may have built a business that fills your bank account, but if you don't build a business that also simultaneously fills and fuels your soul, you will wake up one day and ask yourself, why did I spend the last 25 years of my life doing this? What was the point? And last but not least, the undecided entrepreneur most often struggles with what we call analysis paralysis. Where you just think, one more idea, maybe not this one, I'll just keep going. I'll just keep figuring it out. And you never get it off the ground. You stay in this undecided state forever. And that, my friend, is where the practice business comes in. Okay. So we've covered the 4 types of entrepreneurs. We've covered the shadow side to each one. Now, this is all about you. It's the first half of the equation as you figure out your entrepreneur business type. This is the type of entrepreneur you are. It's the first half of the equation. But there's the second half of the equation, which is what type of business makes sense for you based on who you are as an entrepreneur. It's the second half of the equation. And for this, we have another framework that we use to help get clarity on what makes the most sense for you. Now, I know ultimately for those of you who are saying, how does this relate to the quiz funnel? This is the foundational work. This ensures that you're building a quiz funnel on a solid foundation. You're building a business on a solid foundation, one that is going to fill your bank account and fuel your soul and keep you going when times are tough, when things get difficult, when you're climbing up the side of the mountain and you don't want to take any further steps. When you're asking yourself, why am I doing this in the first place? You go back to that why that we talked about. Remember, #MyWhy. That's as much for you as it is for anybody else here. To remember what that why is. So when things get tough, when things get difficult, when life gets in the way, when things don't go as smoothly or as fast or as easy as you expect them to, you've got something to go back to lean to. And starting with this foundation is going to be ultimately the difference between failure and success. And that's why so many people fail, because they start with the wrong type of business for them. So let's take a look at this. And once again, we're going to go back to the iPad, and I'm going to encourage you to draw this alongside with me. If you go to the iPad here and take a look at the 4 different types of businesses when it comes to building an online business here today. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's draw our grid. And as we do this, I'm going to take a sip of water. I try to multitask. Great time for you to take a sip of water. Stay hydrated. You're doing a lot of brain work right now. It's important that your brain is nice and fully hydrated. Even though we're not doing athletic physical work, in many ways this is very physical because your brain is super engaged right now. So keep all this in mind. All right, so we talked about 4 different types of entrepreneurs. There are 4 major types of businesses online, and this is going to help you determine which type of business is right for you. All right, so let's take a look at each of these one by one, beginning with the upper left-hand quadrant. And in this case here, we have what's called a product-focused business. What does that mean exactly? A product-focused business is where you are selling some form of, and by the way, we use the acronym here PF, right? So product-focused, PF. A product-focused business is anything where you are reaching a large audience and you are selling either a physical or digital product, but you are serving a large number of people in a relatively small way. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're selling something like a physical product that people could buy on a website online, if you're writing something like a book, you might not know the names of your individual readers. You're reaching a wide number of people, a large number of people, but you're not working with any small group of people on a one-on-one basis. So if you're selling something like an e-commerce product, if you are an affiliate marketer selling other people's products as an affiliate, you might not have a relationship with your end customers or clients. They are just a name on an order receipt, but it allows you to reach thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even potentially millions of people around the world. Now, a product-focused business is in contrast to the next type. If we go to the iPad, the next type is what we call a client-focused business. Now, a client-focused business, in contrast to a product-focused business, is one where you are serving a relatively small number of clients in a deep way. And we use the initials CF to delineate this and represent this. So a client-focused business, this is where you're working with a small number of clients in a deep way. You know every single one of your customers by name. In many cases, it might mean that you're doing some form of coaching, some form of consulting. You are a freelancer and you're doing individual client work. You are an agency and you work with a small number of businesses or small number of end clients, every single one of whom you know by name. Now, in contrast to a product-focused business, you might not be serving millions of people, but the people that you are serving, you are helping them in a deep and profound way. And you can change an individual's life when you're in a client-focused business. It's not about the millions of people, it's about the one person in front of you, the one person that you're working with right now. Now, product focus and client focus are direct in contrast to the next type of business. If we go to the iPad, please, which is what we call a membership-focused business. Now, a membership-focused business is in some ways somewhere between these two. Membership-focused business is where you're creating some form of membership or online community where you are serving a group of people in an ongoing, regular basis. Now, we use the letters MF to stand for membership focused. And in a membership focused business, in contrast to a product or client focused business, you are building an online community. You're building an online membership. Now, this ongoing community is a community of people that you have an ongoing recurring relationship with. Now, you might not be getting on the phone with every single one of your community members like you might in a client-focused business. You're not necessarily interacting with them on a one-on-one basis, but they're not just an order on an order receipt. They are a member of your community. Your community could be small with a handful of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, or more. And it can start small and grow. Now, a membership-focused business, again, is in contrast to a product focus and client focus, all of which are in contrast to the fourth and final type of business, which is, if we go to our grid here, what we call an event-focused business. Now, an event-focused business is one where you have a start and a stop to it, where you do things for an extremely concentrated period of time, and then you have an end to that. So for example, if we look at an event-focused business in contrast to a membership-focused business, oftentimes a membership-focused business has an ongoing component to it. It goes on for weeks, months, and potentially years into the future. In contrast, an event-focused business is one that can have a start date, an end date, and you can be done. So for example, this challenge, this quiz funnel workshop, this opportunity that we have has a beginning and it has an end before we move on to the next event in our business. So for those of you who like to work really hard for a concentrated period of time and then have some time where you're completely off, an event-focused business might be right for you. Now, as you're evaluating each of these four types, it's not to say that you can't mix and match and combine these things over time, but you always want to begin in one of these four quadrants. You don't want to try to do all things all at once. One of my mentors once taught me, he said, Ryan, it's okay to be a serial entrepreneur. It's not okay to be a simultaneous one. And what he meant by that is you got to do one thing at a time. You got to focus on just one thing. Focus on the most important thing. Put the blinders on to everything else and focus on one thing that's in front of you right here, right now. And I'm hoping for many of you here, this is this challenge that we're focused on. It's putting this front and center in your life, making this be the thing, putting the blinders on to everything else, and focus on the steps that we're doing beginning here today. All right, let's take a look at our diagram right here as you're trying to figure out which of these four types of businesses is right for you, whether it's serving a large number of people in a small way in the form of a product-based business, whether it is serving a small number of people in a deep way in a client-focused business, whether it's having some form of ongoing, maintained relationship in the form of a community or membership site, or if you are doing an event-focused business where you're supporting and working with people in a deep way for a concentrated period of time, where you've created focus and momentum, and you are moving on after that is over. Now, to help you decide which one's right for you, I want to share one last piece of this, and then I'm going to go back to the group and we're going to chat a little bit about kind of where we all think we stand in this framework, and that is this. As you look at your personality, there are two sides to the grid. On the left-hand side of the grid, we have these two options, product focused and membership focused, and these two options tend to do really well if you are more of an introverted personality. And the reason for that is you're not necessarily interacting with individuals in a one-on-one basis, day in and day out, like you might in a client-focused business, or working with people in a very deep and intensive way over the course of an event, getting in front of a live audience of people, whether that's in person or virtual, as we're doing right here today. And so if you are very introverted, what we describe as, oops, don't want to do that, what we describe as I, so double introverted, product focus might be a good place for you to start. If you are a little bit less introverted, but you still like to kind of hide behind a computer screen, you might want a membership where you can still interact with people, but you're not having to do so either over Zoom, on the phone, in person, one-on-one. On the right-hand side of this diagram that we have right here, if you are more extroverted, you might be more attracted to this side of the equation. By the way, there are no hard and fast rules, so if you're introverted and you're attracted to one of these grids more so than the other, that's totally great. If you are extroverted and you are sort of somewhat extroverted, you might be attracted to the client-focused quadrant where you're working with people on a one-on-one basis. If you are very extroverted, you might be attracted to this side of the equation where you are going live in front of an audience and working with a large number of people in an intensive way. So as we look at this kind of right here, right-hand side of the equation, if we go to our extroverted side, this is over here. Left-hand side of the equation, if you're a little bit more introverted, you might be more attracted to this side of the equation. And again, no hard and fast rules on any of this, but you can use this as a guide. All right, so now that we've learned the first half of the equation, what type of entrepreneur are you? Second half of the equation, what type of business are you most attracted to? Now you can go forth and inside the comment thread, I want to invite you to take a moment to share your 4-word acronym that describes your entrepreneur business type. So let me explain what I mean by that. So if we go back to the iPad here, we looked at our first example, we looked at our first grid, where we looked at mission-based, passion-based, opportunity-based, undecided. So if you are mission-based, then you, and let's say for example, you are product-focused, then your entrepreneur business type would be combining these two things together, and we would say that you are MBPF. Okay? Now, let's say in contrast, if you are more opportunity-based and you are event-focused, in your case, we would say that you are OBEF. So you've got a 4-letter acronym to really give you a tremendous amount of clarity around where you're starting, what type of entrepreneur you are in this grid right here, what type of business is right for you in this grid here, and putting it all together. So I'd love to invite you to take a moment to do this now. And one of the cool things that we're going to be doing tomorrow, in tomorrow's training, once you've reflected on this, is I'm going to share with you how you compare to the over 500,000 people who have gone through a quiz funnel online, which is an assessment to identify what's your entrepreneur business type. So yeah, we've had over 500,000 people go through the process of identifying what their entrepreneur business type is, and you'll be able to find out how you stack up. Are you in the rarest type? Are you in the most common type? Are you somewhere in between? So we'll have some fun with that tomorrow. I'll be sharing with you the results of that. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear from you to see where we all stand. I love this. Denise says PBCF. I'm currently PBPF. OBCF, says Sasha Quina. Kathy says PBCF, possibly. Alexandra says MBPF. Denise says OBMF. Christina says I want to be MBPF. Veronica says PBCF. UMF says Val. Tiana says start as PBF, moving to PBMF. Bob is UCF, EF. I love this. OBPF, says Christina. We've got a great crew. We got a great crew here today. This is a lot of fun. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening tomorrow as we wind down our hour here together. So today the focus was all about you. Getting clarity on who you are by answering 2 important questions. What type of entrepreneur are you, and what type of business is right for you based on your personality and what's attractive to you, and so on and so forth. So it's all about getting clarity about yourself. Tomorrow, our focus is on who, as in who you're going to serve. In other words, what's your niche? Who's your market? Who is your ideal customer? And eventually, where do you find that person online? So we're going to be taking the next important step to get clarity not just on yourself, but now who is the individual that you're targeting in your business? Who are you going to be trying to reach, both in terms of your products and services, and of course the quiz funnel that you're going to be building to reach that audience online. Now, we're going to be covering one of the single most important decisions before starting your business, and you can think about today as sort of like a warm-up, right? So we're just getting things going, we're getting our wheels turning. It's the start to the week here, building up some momentum. I don't want to make it too overwhelming for you when we get started, but tomorrow's where we get into things for real. Again, we're going to be covering the 5 most important things that you want to be looking for in your market. We're going to cover how to make sure your market checks off these 5 boxes. So we're going to be going through a very powerful test to evaluate the market or markets that you might be considering going into, expanding into. Maybe it's the market that you've already chosen for your business, and you can take a look. Does your market check off all these boxes? And if you've been struggling in your business, maybe it's because you've missed one of these boxes. The market misses one of these boxes, in which case you may want to pivot or tweak or shift a little bit so we can find a market that checks off these important, this list of important things. So we're going to be covering that in detail tomorrow when we answer the question of who, as in who you're going to serve. All right, so today's assignment is simple. All right, so first things first. If you haven't done so already, and I'm going to exit out of this screen right here, what you want to do inside the group is as follows. So number 1, you want to make sure that you have registered yourself, if we go to our screen here, in the events, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see this, and I can't keep up the fast and furious, amazing activity that we're having right here. You want to go to, see where it says more up top right here? I'm just going to, can I minimize this? I'll just have to close this. There we go. See where it says more right here? You're going to want to go to where it says events. And you can see here inside this section, we have all the events that are happening for the rest of the week. You want to make sure that you mark yourself off as going to each event, even if you're not 100% sure, because what that'll do is Facebook will notify you that the event is happening, so that way you don't miss a single second. I know it's tough with the time zone differences. This is showing 3 p.m. Central Time in the United States, but this could be at any time of day depending on where you are in the world. So that way you don't have to worry about memorizing the time zone. It'll tell you when we go live. It's the same time every day, to keep it simple. Same time we went live today is when we go live tomorrow. So that's the first thing you want to do. If you want to go back and re-watch today's training, we have in the guide section here, you'll see Choose, Ask, Build Challenge. In that guide, we will put today's training, but this is also where you catch up on any training that you've missed. The training is only going to be here this week. That's it. And then it goes away. So you want to make sure that you stay up to date, you keep up to date. It's not going to be here forever. So make sure, I know sometimes you've got kiddos you need to pick up, you've got a doctor's appointment, you've got to miss 15 minutes here or there. Try to be here live, because we're going to be doing some really cool stuff that's only for those of you who are here live. But if you miss something, this is where you'll get it, in the guide section. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you watch this welcome video that you see right here. You can tell the shirt that I'm wearing, it's this one, a white shirt with the dark blue sleeves. Make sure that you watch this, because there's that important introduction exercise that you want to do. All right, if you come back to me. So, assignments that you want to do. If you haven't done so already, go live here inside the group and answer 3 questions. What's your name? Where are you from? And what's your why? What's your big why? You can use that hashtag, MyWhy, to let us know. I want to know. I read every single one. So I'm insanely curious myself. I really want to get to know you and know you a little bit better. So that's the first thing. Second thing, if you haven't done so already, tell us what your entrepreneur business type is. So what are your 4 letters? Are you MBPF? Are you OBCF? What are your 4 letters? What's your acronym? What is your entrepreneur business type? Because that is the lens through which you're going to want to be looking through the entire challenge as we go through each of the steps going forward. And last but not least, if you haven't already done so, make sure you go to that link that I shared a little bit earlier on the screen, which is chooseaskbuild.com/text, to get added to the secret text message thread, which is going to take you to a page that looks like this on the screen. Just type your email and your best mobile number, and you'll get notified with all the goodies. Plus, my secret bonus that you can only get through this, which is my 101 profitable niches of 2021. This is my personal list. As we get into the topic tomorrow of your who, your market, your niche, it's important that you pick a market that is going to set you up to succeed. Well, I have this secret list that I've always kept, and I update it every single year, of the exact markets I would be going into right here, right now, if I was starting from scratch. Like if I had to start completely from scratch and I, was just starting from ground zero, this is the exact list of markets that I would be picking from. I'm just going to give you the list. I'm going to hand this list to you on a silver platter. All you got to do is enter your email and phone number on this, and I'll send a text message to you with that list. So if you come back to me, just to recap one last time, go live in the group, introduce yourself, number one. Number two, share what your entrepreneur business type is, the 4-letter acronym. That's number two. Number three, sign up for the SMS text message thread that we've done right there. And number four, fourth and finally, if you've got any friends in your world, any family, any cousins, brothers, sisters, colleagues, neighbors, college roommates, anybody that you think would be awesome to join us here in this challenge, I'd love for you to invite them to join us. And you can do so by just sharing the link, chooseaskbuild.com. Remember, this challenge is completely free. You can invite as many people as you'd like to join us here. They'll be able to join us. They'll be able to catch up on anything that they've missed, and they'll be able to follow along with us here inside the group. All right. I think that covers just about everything. I know we went a few minutes over here today, but I wanted to make sure you had everything that you need to be successful and to make this an amazing week together. So with that being said, I always like to end with biggest takeaways from the day. So go ahead and in the comments and let me know what's been your single biggest takeaway from today's first session in the Choose, Ask, Build challenge. You can use the word biggest, you can use the word takeaway in all caps, and just let me know what that is, and that'll consolidate your learning, it'll consolidate your thinking. I always love to end with takeaways. I'll read a few off, and then we're gonna wrap things up for the day. So if you bear with me one second as I pull this back up and I go to our discussion and I see all the great takeaways that are coming through right now. Bear with me one second as I pull this up and I go to the comments, and I see this is great. Holy smokes, almost 2,000 comments right here. Thank you, Fanuta, Sasha, Val, Guillaume, yes, thank you so much. As I can try to see if I can get this going. Here we go. Maybe I can't get it live. Takeaway says, and the E-type and B-type. Kelly, takeaway, getting clarity about myself. Here we go. Idea of practice business is so cool. Mahalo, Ryan, indeed. Biggest takeaway. Oh man, this is going fast and furious. I might have a great chance to build something amazing without all the headache of hustling for clients. Takeaway, mission-based biz can easily end up broke. Just got to watch out for it. Wendy, you don't need to do it all yourself. Takeaway, shadow side of each type. Takeaway is a niche for all types. I can start where I'm at right now, says Lacia. Love this. Takeaway, says Sally, there's a way, I was learning about what I am. I didn't know there were ways to make money for your efforts and contribution to others. Love it. Takeaways, clarity, says Eric, on what type of business is best suited for. Shannon, takeaway, choose one thing and focus on it to start. Doesn't have to be forever. Indeed. Takeaway, says Perry, start with a practice business. Takeaway says, I thought I was client focused, but I'm introverted and maybe probably a little bit more product focused. This is great. Takeaways, type of entrepreneurs. Takeaway, shadow side of my business types. Type of entrepreneurs, I have not experienced this yet. And Ryan says, my biggest takeaway is clarity. All right, guys. Let's wrap things up for today. I want to wish you a great rest of your day, great rest of your evening, great rest of your night. We're going to be back here, same time, same place. Make sure that you're here because tomorrow we're going to dive into your who, getting clarity on your niche, on your market, how to identify who your ideal customer is, and then with that information, set you up for success to build a quiz funnel that reaches that specific group of people. So with that being said, we're going to wrap things up here. Take care, talk soon, and I'll see you same time, same place, right here inside the Facebook group tomorrow. Take care, guys. Talk soon. Bye.